Hello, hey, Brendan here from WP Speedfix. Back with another video. I thought I'd do this one about ranking in ChatGPT. We actually sent a couple of emails in the last couple of months. We sent one in May, I think it was, about ranking in ChatGPT, and we sent one last week as well about some advanced tactics. So I wanted to talk about those, make a video about it. Simple stuff. Again, what we seem to specialize in, simple, not obvious. So let's talk about ranking in ChatGPT or getting more exposure in ChatGPT. So the most basic level, ChatGPT uses Bing as its default search engine. So by default, when it hits a wall or needs to go look something up, it goes to Bing. So really important to be ranked in Bing, indexed in Bing. Otherwise, you're simply just not going to show on ChatGPT. ChatGPT also has its own crawlers as well, but typically when it hits a roadblock, it goes out and searches Bing. And if it's using deep research, it's searching Bing. So it makes sense to be indexed in Bing. We've talked about this for years because Bing drives a whole bunch of other search engines like DuckDuckGo is probably the most important one. And these second tier, you'll see second tier search engines are important, especially if you have particular niches or markets that use those search engines. So if you're like super technical, generally more technical or privacy focused people use DuckDuckGo. So if you're not indexed in Bing, you won't be indexed in DuckDuckGo. So there's a whole bunch of other reasons other than ChatGPT to be indexed in Bing, but let's talk about some basic stuff here. So make sure the site is indexed. So some simple steps to do: go to Bing and just do site domain search. So site wpspeedfix.com here. That's the most basic one. Does your site appear? Do all the pages appear? Here's our site, so it does. So we're indexed. It's probably worth doing a brand search as well. Just search the brand. Very simple, just to see how you look. There's all these people who rip off our brand. It drives me nuts. WP Speed Fixer. It's like, come on, dude. But anyway, so search a brand, do a domain, site domain search, and that'll tell you whether you're indexed. Indexation problems are super common in Bing. We actually have a whole blog article about it. Bing seems to be less tolerant of technical issues. So if you have some sort of technical issue or you have some sort of penalty, which is probably more important, they'll typically just de-index you, remove you from the search entirely. Whereas if Google has a problem with your site, they'll just de-rank you and you'll still be indexed. So we see a lot of issues with Bing indexation, so there's a whole blog article on our site about that and some steps. And Bing actually have tech support, so you can actually email to support and log a ticket, and they may be able to help you there. So that's a good place to start if you're not indexed. The other thing to do would be set up Bing Webmaster Tools. Even if you are indexed, set up Bing Webmaster Tools. It'll help Bing crawl your site better. You can add sitemaps there. It will just help Bing understand your site better. There are some audit tools in there as well that use Bing crawler, so it'd be worth just getting in there, poking around, just using the tool and making sure your site is set up there and indexed. So very simple stuff. If you're not indexed, you're never going to rank. So make sure your site is indexed and set up Bing Webmaster Tools. So that's that. Next one, get a Bing Maps listing set up. So Bing has maps just like Google. They call it Bing Places. So just go to bingplaces.com and you can claim your existing business listing if it has one. The other way to do it would be just search the site, or search your business, do a brand search, and then go to maps and then claim this. I don't know why ours shows unclaimed, but it has been claimed. But anyway, get set up in Bing Places. While you're at it, if you're messing around with this stuff, it's probably wise to get set up in Apple Maps as well, or claim the listing there. And just claim any of the listings. Like, you may have old listings in there. Make sure they're up to date, that the address is right, all the info is correct. If you have an existing listing, just fatten it out with images and as much detail as possible. So again, when someone asks ChatGPT for something, it goes to, and particularly if it's physical business, it'll go to Bing first and Bing Places. So you need to make sure that if you have a maps listing there, if you're a physical business, or even if you just have an office, just fatten out the info there as much as possible. Opening hours, get reviews on there if you can, photos, all the basic stuff. A lot of this stuff is really just about checking boxes. It's pretty simple stuff. I mean, making sure the site is indexed, making sure you're on the maps. And then the third one there, if you're an e-commerce business, get a Bing shopping listing set up. The same as Google Shopping. So Bing Shopping also has a free component where they'll just show you in the Bing search results. So it'd be worth doing that as well. We haven't done any testing to see whether paying for Bing ads makes a difference in ChatGPT, but let me see. I was looking for degreaser before. So you'll see here, there is a block there. So there's the e-commerce block there for Bing shopping, and then in the Bing shopping tab. So it's a no-brainer, and if you have Google Shopping already, it's pretty simple just to use that same feed and get set up. It's just a matter of setting up an account, the usual stuff, validating the website, verifying the website, adding the feed, and then coming back a day or two later and making sure that that feed is working. If you have a less technical market, it may actually be worth paying for Bing ads. In any case, it's probably worth testing anyway. So just do a test, pay for those Bing shopping ads and see if they work. Bing traffic tends to be less technical, so it converts better typically. So it's worth a test anyway. And if you're in e-commerce, you should be able to track that at a pretty granular level. So that's the basic stuff. I mean, that's all no-brainer stuff. That might take you an hour if you're doing the Bing Places stuff. That's a bit fiddly. Bing Shopping may even take a little bit more because that might be a little bit more fiddly, but not a big deal to do any of that. You can DIY it. If you have time, you could give it to one of your staff. All straightforward. So that was what we kind of talked about in our first email back in May. I'll link you up to that anyway, but you can see here I asked for some recommendations. Let's see if we can open that up. See if it opens up to a bigger image. Nope, it does not. So I just searched, give me the best 4 and 5 star hotels in Perth. So it just went straight out to Bing Places and just did a search and spat that back. So that's why Bing Places is important. And here you go. I asked it, why did you use Bing? So I use Bing because it's the browsing search tool integrated into ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is powered by Microsoft, which uses Bing as its default search engine. So there you go. So straight from ChatGPT itself. So I'll link you up to that anyway. But let's talk about the advanced stuff. So that's what we emailed about last week. So let's go through my list here first. Okay, advanced stuff. Fix crawl errors in Google Search Console. Now, we're talking about Bing, so why does this matter? Well, Bing is much less tolerant of crawling errors, like I said before. So it's likely to have a problem if the crawler is going around in circles or it's crawling a whole bunch of stuff. It shouldn't be. Google's crawler is better. But if Google is getting errors, then there's a good chance Bing will be getting errors too. So it would make sense to fix crawl errors in both tools. So that would be under Pages. So you want to go through all this stuff here and clear this stuff up. And a side note, I'll plug some of our own stuff here. That's what we do in our, where is it? Google Search Console service. So in our Google Search Console service, that's what we do. We clean up those errors. So we audit that and give you an action plan, and then we can implement it. So you want to clean up this section here, like stuff like forbidden. This page, I'm guessing, is a logon page. Yeah. So that's normal to be forbidden. That's fine. But, you want to fix any other errors in here, particularly 404 stuff. Like, let's have a look at this site. Yeah, so there's a lot of crap in here. So, something's not right here with this stuff being crawled. Some typos, some things like that. So you want to fix all that up. So that's one section. I'll just move this over here. So under settings, and then crawl stats here, there's another section. You want to fix these crawl errors under here too. So you want to go through like these, for example, these hosts, and I've probably used this in a video before. Things like this CRM link, they're no longer being used. So, and even this store link. So we actually probably want to delete those host names if they're not already deleted. Yeah, so those are 404ing out. So we actually just want to delete that CRM.didgeridoo-doja. And then you basically just want to go through this stuff and clean it up and fix errors. So move temporarily, that's probably redirecting to a logon link, I'm guessing. Yeah, there you go. So we actually don't want these things crawled. So we probably want to block that in the robots file, in fact. So again, this sort of stuff, we just want all that sort of stuff blocked. So we'd add that in the robots.txt file. Like 404 errors again. These will be similar, but they'll be different. So this is someone trying to hack this site. Tim Thumb that's a security vulnerability. So someone's messing around in there, or the crawler's trying to crawl that. It shouldn't be. But again, this file, Tim Thumb, would probably want to add that to the robots.txt file to stop that. Same with the logon page. Like, we don't want any of this stuff crawled. It's just burning crawl budget. And again, if Google, which arguably has the best crawler, is getting these issues, then Bing will be getting these issues too. So we just want to clean up all that garbage there. So we talked about that. Fix errors in Search Console. And then Core Web Vitals, of course, we want to fix. So anything that's slow, crawler's going to be slow. I'm guessing this site has some issues. So it's up and down. This one's a bit of a work in progress. And it's a super old site as well. So, but we want to fix stuff in there as well. Core Web Vital stuff, which, by the way, is what we do. Okay, so we talked about that. Fix crawl errors. You probably want, I'm going to put in here, get uptime monitoring setup. Downtime equals 0 speed. And use our tool, simple uptime. Simpleuptime.co. So this is something we talk about a lot. Downtime is 0 speed. If the site is down, then basically there's no speed at all. So reliability is one of our core values at WP Speed Fix, is reliability over speed. So we always want to make sure that the site is up and reliable. So we actually built an uptime monitoring tool, Simple Uptime, to do this. So if you go to simpleuptime.com, you can sign up there and check it out. But it's like basically like website insurance. So yeah, just go there if you want to check that out. But get some uptime monitoring set up, because if the site is going offline or has issues, then it's going to show up in an uptime monitor. And some SEO crawlers can be super aggressive, so they can knock a site offline, especially if you've got crawl errors from this issue. So, as per this point. So simpleuptime.co. I'll add you one more in here. So renew domain name, renew primary domain name for as long as your registrar allows. So 5 years or 10 years for .com. I know that Australian is 5 years for .com.au. So .com.au is Australian. So I know those. So some registrars or different domains will have different registration lengths. So .com you can renew up to 10 years. .com.au is 5 years. For some websites, we have seen SEO benefits from renewing domains for that long. I don't know why, but it works on some domains. So the idea we came up with for that was, the idea was that most frequently downtime is being caused on our hosting platform, WP Alpha, by domain expiry. So people forgetting to renew domains. So if you renew the domain for 5 years or 10 years, then that's less likely to happen. And the domain's probably never going to be cheaper than it is now. So there may be some discount there. And there seems to be some SEO benefit there as well. So in some cases, not all. So it's a bit of a no-brainer. Protects you from downtime. Protects you from losing the domain, expiries, things like that. So renew the primary domain for as long as possible. I think that's all straightforward. Now let's talk about schema. So schema markup is kind of hidden code that it's like extra metadata about the page. There's different schema types. So there's schema for your location, for your business, for e-commerce products. There's thousands of different schema types, and it can get really, really complicated. So there's a few layers to this. So we use the Rank Math paid SEO plugin. Does a great job of this. So basically go through in your SEO plugin, you'll see there's a section there that has like business information, location, social media properties. It'll ask for the addresses. Fill all that out as much as you can. Even the logo, it'll ask for a logo image. Go through and tidy that stuff up and make sure it's all accurate. So that is driving the stuff under the bonnet, the schema markup. So if we go here, I'm just going to show you, this is the schema validator tool. So validator.schema.org, and we'll talk about this in a second, but you can just test and see what schema is in your site right now. And it'll give you there'll be some site-wide schema in here. As long as this crawl works, there we go. So service schema here, so there's information about our service, and you see here it has stuff about different social media platforms and links, Facebook, YouTube, email addresses, has our postal address there. So all this is kind of extra metadata that's inserted in the schema. Here we go. This is about the page, so this is a different schema type. There are other schemas as well. So what we'd say is get it set up with the SEO plugin, and then use ChatGPT and ask it what schema should be on a page. So hopefully this page will refresh. Yeah, so I asked it here, what schema markup should this page about SEO audit services have? Gave it the page, so it went and crawled it, and then it gave me the schema type. So it should have server schema, it should have organization schema, which it does from the SEO plugin we saw here. It's under this server schema somewhere here. Give me some info there. There we go, this is organization schema. So it has that already from the SEO plugin. FAQ schema, and then it said we can have some pricing details inside the server schema. So all that stuff is not being driven by rank math. This is kind of custom code. So what we want to do is copy that code and embed it on the page, or use a plugin that, like a headers and footers plugin. We use headers footers code manager, HFCM. It's a free plugin, and the reason why we like that is because you can choose an individual page just to insert that code on. So that's how we do it. You want to clean up this schema. So by default, this won't give you complete schema. You probably want to use JavaScript-based schema, and you'll see here it's got path to logo, for example. So it's not complete. You need to go through and fix it. Sometimes it'll also give you wrong information. It's not 100% accurate. So if you go in here, you can paste the code snippet in and get the validator to check it first. Let's just do this. And check it for any problems, and you can see here how it comes through. So it kind of turns it into plain English. So you want to check it before you put it on the website, because it does make mistakes. So sometimes it gives you invalid schema, sometimes it mixes stuff up, but it's actually a really good tool for figuring out how to put schema on the website. So we use that, and then we use the validator together to get the custom schema on important pages that we want to rank. So you can see here, use schema validator to check it. The last one here, so this was in the mailout as well. So this tool Prompt Watch, we really like. Oh, let's reload that. It has an SEO, AI SEO audit tool. I just lost my audit. So you can run that there yourself, but it'll give you some basic, well, it does some basic checks, and it'll give you some recommendations on improving your visibility in AI tools. So it's really like good, simple tool. It's also pretty cheap as well. I think we're using it. What's the pricing? This pricing. So $90 a month. So if you care about getting traffic from cheap ChatGPT, and we do, a good chunk of our leads now is coming from 20 or 30% are coming from ChatGPT, then it's well worth sorting that out. Or at least testing it. It has a free 7-day trial as well. So there's a whole bunch of other tools there as well you can play around with under the free tools section. So that'd be worth checking out. So there's that. Probably an even more advanced, I don't have it on there, but if you're like super advanced, we use, and you want to have a look at how crawlers are looking at your website. This is probably like for very technical marketers. We use this tool. I'm just waiting for it to load. This one. Screaming Frog log analyzer. So we use this. You can dump your web server logs in here and understand how crawlers are accessing the site. So this can be useful for analyzing what AI crawlers are doing on the site. There are other tools that will do this, but this is probably the most technical one and the best one. It's not too expensive as well. So if you want a super advanced tool, this will give you a good understanding about what AI crawlers are doing under the bonnet. So that's that. I'll leave you with that. I'm trying to keep the video a bit shorter and short and snappy. If you need any help with your website, like I said, we have this Google Search Console audit. This can be super useful for AI search and boosting visibility in AI tools. If you're not sure how we can help, go request a free site speed audit here or a free site review. Tell us what you're looking for, and we'll come back to you with some recommendations. There's also a bunch of free tools here under the free tool section. So all these take about 90 seconds to run, no opt-in required, so you can mess around there and try some different things. But I'll leave you with that. If you have any questions, post in the comments below, and happy to come back to you. Cheers.